Good morning for guests from West and good evening all the friends over here. Greetings on behalf of District Governor Rotarian Nagendra Prasad and District Vocational Service team. Uh, I'm happy to welcome guests from outside Rotarian Bill Shilito, President of ADRAG, Rotarian Angela Ponte, Secretary of ADRAG, uh, Rotarian Zuhal Shah from RI Headquarters, PDG David Clifton, Rotarian Chuck Sawyer, Rotarian Joseph Clancy, Rotarian Natraj Shankar. Uh, I think DG Nagendra Prasad will join later. President Ravi Narasimhan, welcome to your own program and welcome Chairman of local chapter of the Rotary Action Group, Rotarian Colonel DP Sabharwal. Uh, welcome to all the Rotarians, uh, guests who are part of this very eventful function. Rotary Action Group is something which we are focusing on for last 3 years in District 3190. So far, we have 6 active Rotary Action Group. To name them, we have water wash RAG, focusing on water and sanitation, very actively looking into rejuvenation of water bodies in district and surrounding places. We have HURAG, focusing on health, education, and wellness, specifically working on COVID-related health projects as well as uh, heart surgery projects. SRAG is working on large-scale tree plantation and recyclable menstrual pad. We have RACSED, which is Community Economic Development, focusing Rotary Action Group, working on women-led community-based micro-enterprises, 11 of them being established this year. Uh, Two new Rotary Action Group launched this year. One is on Rotary Action Group on multiple sclerosis, which has already launched several projects connected with the patients. And last one was Rotary Action Group on blood donation group. And in this case, it was hosted by Rotary Downtown. And today we are launching the 7th active Rotary Action Group. This is on Rotary Action Group on Alzheimer and dementia, led by or hosted by Rotary Bangalore Cantonment. So welcome to you all. I think just like all of you, I'm also waiting to see how actually this gets started and gets into action mode as quickly as possible. Thank you so much.
Uh, Thank you, Dr. Radhakrishna, for setting the tone for this evening. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Rotary Bangalore Cantonment, I extend a warm welcome to all of you present here. Quick gist of what is going to unfold for you today. We have for you an illustrious line of speakers. We start with the chairman of ADRAG, Bill. ADRAC, as you know, the full form is Alzheimer's Dementia Rotary Action Group. This will be followed by 3 important talks revolving around Alzheimer's. We will then request our DG Nagendra Prasad to inaugurate the session. And finally, we shall conclude with ADRAC Chairman, our own Rotarian Sabharwal, who will give a brief presentation. So this is the lineup that we have for you today. And we do hope with this thoughtful program construct that we have, you will have some key takeaways by end of the program. So before we begin, I will introduce Rotarian Bill, who will commence with an address. William Shillito, known as Bill, is a war veteran who served in the US Army for close to 22 years. He flew more than 1,000 hours in Vietnam and has won Distinguished Flying Cross, a coveted military award, twice. He holds a bachelor's degree in aeronautical engineering and a master's degree in personal management. Post his retirement, he has worked for 12 years in a manufacturing company and rose to the level of general manager. He then became an entrepreneur, and his startup company offered high speed internet access to several countries. Bill was the district governor in the year 2007 2008. He has been the executive director of CART Fund. The acronym is Coins for Alzheimer's Research Trust since the year 2009. He has been associated with ADRAG since its formation in 2014. He was, in fact, instrumental in assisting ADRAG to become recognized by the Rotary International. Bill has served as secretary and the newsletter editor before being elected as chair in the year 2019. Welcome you, Bill, to present the address to the gathering.
Thank you for that warm introduction. It is so wonderful to be with you. Ever since we were introduced to this group of great Rotarians, my heart has been warmed from that association, and seeing the number of people and the number of people who are interested that are online with us today in the formation of this wonderful new addition to the Rotary Action Group. I know Rotary International would be so very pleased to see what they have begun as an idea has starting to grow and take traction, and your group is a great reminder of that. When we look at this incredible, horrible disease and the things that it causes, we know why we're here. We know why we're interested. I'll take us back only a few years here in the United States, where Alzheimer's and forms of dementia was a stigma to be hidden. And it was to be kept quiet and not ever discussed. It certainly wasn't recognized as a cause of death by the Center for Disease Control. It was something that the families or the loved ones, or hopefully friends, if no loved ones are around, were able to assist the person going through this. We've since become a little more enlightened in the United States, whereby we recognize it as a disease, not as a mental issue, purely to be hidden. We recognize it as a, now with the Center for Disease Control, recognize it as a cause of death, has become the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. I have not seen statistics for India and other countries, but I imagine it's close to those numbers as well. And the other thing we see is that it's devastating if they're not addressing it in a good way. So Rotary International, in their wisdom, created Rotary Action Groups. Dave Clifton, who is on board with us now, and I consider Dave the founder of the Alzheimer's Dementia Rotary Action Group. He was the initial chairman and served as chairman for many years before passing the mantle to me. And so he is still very active, and he's on board with us this morning. Please wave at us, past District Governor Dave Clifton. Thank you for what you've done. The Alzheimer's Dementia Rotary Action Group is an active group. We have our webmaster, Chuck Sauer, on board with us this morning. Wave at us, Chuck, if you will. Good morning. With the website, we have a portal called a new member portal that Chuck created on his own time and his own pro bono basis. Has been a wonderful addition to our website, so we thank him for being a part of that. The thing that makes the Alzheimer's Dementia Rotary Action Group so viable are our resource partners. And so we are not the experts. We are very passionate about what we do, but we're not the experts. But there are organizations that are very close to being experts And I'll list those for you now. One is the Alzheimer's Association. I think most countries have an Alzheimer's Association now. In the US, ours is very active. They are a wonderful organization with great resources. One of the resources is a 24/7 hotline for anybody who is dealing with dementia in their family or seeing their situation deteriorate and have never faced these issues before, or if they're issues that you're facing for the first time, you can talk to an expert on that Alzheimer's Association 24-hour hotline. That's just one of the things that the Alzheimer's Association, one of our resource partners. REPOD is a Rotarians Easing Problems of Dementia out of the UK. Started in the UK, primarily centered in the UK, but a founding member of Alzheimer's Dementia Rotary Action Group. They focus on educating their community, their city, their township, their municipality, or their county government on what it's going to be like when there are Alzheimer's patients in their community that may not have immediate family around them. So they want the communities and the townships to be prepared to help their citizens as they descend into this abyss called Alzheimer's if they don't have their loved ones around, and support the families who do have loved ones and provide them with support and help. The next resource partner is a group out of Massachusetts called the Cure Alzheimer's Fund. This is a unique 501c3, which means nonprofit charitable organization with the entire focus on research. So every dollar they raise, they go to research. They have a full-time staff that's paid for by 4 philanthropic families out of the New York, Boston area that pays those salaries. And so every donation can go to research. They are the 3rd leading research institution as far as dollars in the United States, behind the NIH and behind the Alzheimer's Association. The next organization is a grassroots Rotary organization called Cure Alzheimer, or Coins for Alzheimer's Research Trust, started by one Rotarian in South Carolina that's now grown to over 23 Rotary districts supporting this by throwing their loose change into a little blue bucket, collecting that change and reporting that change. And since the inception of the Coins for Alzheimer's Research Trust out of a little Rotary Club in Sumter, South Carolina, we now have $10.2 million in research, and funded 55 research grants. The top award each year is a $250,000 grant. And the last organization is really unique. It's called Music Men's Minds. It is an organization that focuses on the beauty of music and how it affects an Alzheimer's patient and makes the family much more attractive or much more relaxed during a period where it can be very stressful. Music Men's Mind has won awards and has been featured on our cable news network called CNN. The leader and the founder of the Music Men's Mind, Carol Rosenstein, has been awarded the CNN Hero of the Year. So we have those 5 resource partners that make us really effective as a Rotary Action Group. We're growing and expanding. With your group, you make a great addition to our wonderful organization. We're speaking to people in Africa who are looking to form a group much like yours. So I thank you very much for hosting me today and allowing me to speak to the group. I thank you very much, and God bless your efforts. All the best.
Thank you, Bill, for sharing your thoughts, and especially for giving us an intro into the various resource partners. Thank you so much. Like I said earlier, we will now move on to talks from 3 very eminent speakers who will be conveying very important messages based on their experiences on this very important subject. So let me start by giving a brief introduction of Dr. Soumya Hegde. Dr. Soumya Hegde graduated from the Grand Medical College, Mumbai in '97. She did her psychiatry training from Lokmanya Tilak College in Mumbai. She obtained Member of Royal College Psychiatry and Certificate of Completion of Specialist Training in Old Age Psychiatry from United Kingdom. She returned to India in 2008 to continue her work in geriatric mental health. Yeah. For 8 years, she steered the dementia care services of Nightingale's Medical Trust in Bangalore. She specializes in managing challenging behaviors in dementia through a holistic approach, which includes medication, non-pharmacological interventions, individualized care plans, and caregiver training. She has spoken extensively in senior citizens forums, both locally and nationally, creating awareness about mental health issues in elders and about the management. She has also played a very active role in creating awareness in advocacy programs. She conducts programs for students, professionals, and family caregivers. Dr. Soumya is unable to join us today. She has, however, sent a brief video presentation, which I will be sharing with all of you now. And my join your life today. It is a pleasure to be amongst all of you as we embark on this really exciting and challenging journey. A new case of dementia diagnosed every 3 seconds. Not a condition that we can not talk about.
Could you restart? Sorry, Suman, could you restart the video? The volume was a little low. If you don't mind. Thank you.
Sure. I'll have to request everyone to put yourself on. There's some disturbance.
Someone's mic seems to be on. If everybody could mute, please.
Suman, you'll have to unmute. We can't hear it.
Ignore or not talk about. Sorry, a very good evening, everyone, and my apologies for not being able to join you live today. It is indeed a pleasure to be amongst all of you as we embark on this really exciting and challenging journey. With one new case of dementia diagnosed every 3 seconds, it is not a condition that we can any longer ignore or not talk about. I have been practicing in the field of geriatric mental health and particularly dementia for close to 2 decades now. And yet, with every new patient, I learn something new. This is a condition which is very hard to define and even harder to understand. Simply put, dementia is a disease of age. Age being the biggest risk factor, we put ourselves more at risk as we live longer. By the age of 65, 1 in 20 brains starts showing the changes of Alzheimer's disease, increasing to 1 in 5 by the age of 80 years. The term dementia is often synonymously used with memory loss, but dementia is a lot more than that. It is an umbrella term for a group of cognitive symptoms, which includes short-term memory loss, disorientation, impaired judgment, difficulties in communication, difficulties in planning and carrying out day-to-day activities, sometimes changes in personality, and very difficult behaviors like aggression, psychosis, hallucinations. These difficult behaviors are called challenging behaviors, and this can cause significant caregiver burden. It is also the reason for majority of the patients who are admitted into institutional care. As of now, we have no cure for dementia.
And as it is a progressive condition, eventually the person affected will require complete care and be dependent on others. Alzheimer's disease is only one type of dementia, which accounts for 60 to 80% of the cases. Alzheimer's disease happens because of an accelerated loss of neurons in the brain. There are other types of dementias, which include multi-infarct or vascular dementia, which occurs due to reduced blood supply or damage to the blood vessels in the brain. There's frontotemporal dementia, Lewy body dementia, dementia due to Parkinson's disease, and Huntington's disease. In spite of decades of research, we still don't have a cure for dementia. But what we do have are medication, which if diagnosed and prescribed early, can slow down the deterioration. Research has also shown that cognitive stimulation and psychosocial interventions can also significantly slow down the deterioration if we are able to do this at the early stages of the disease. The rate at which dementia progresses varies from person to person, and it is possible for people to live an active, productive, and meaningful life even after a diagnosis of dementia. This is why creating awareness and early diagnosis is so important. India's population in 2018 was estimated to be around 1.35 billion, of which 10% of the population was over the age of 60. It is projected to rise to 19% by the year 2050. With demographic aging comes the increased risk of dementia. In 2015, there were 4.1 million people in India suffering from dementia. This number is projected to rise to 13.3 million by 2050, making India one of the largest number of elders with dementia. The treatment or service gap for dementia in India is thought to be nearly 90%, which means that only 1 in 10 people receives a diagnosis, treatment, and care. There are many reasons for this. Probably the biggest reason is that there is lack of awareness even amongst healthcare professionals. Dementia is not yet a public health priority. In almost the entire care for dementia being provided by family caregivers with hardly any information or financial support. According to the Dementia India Report 2010, there were 10 dementia daycare facilities and 6 residential care facilities in the country. In now a decade since then, even if we assume that the numbers of daycare facilities and residential care facilities have doubled or even trebled, it is still abysmally low to cater to this huge need of dementia that we have. One of the other challenges that we face in India is the wide diversity of language and cultural norms. Developing rating scales for diagnosis, training of healthcare staff, and developing standards of care becomes very difficult when we have to take into account this diversity. This is perhaps why interventions like music will play a particularly important role. Music transcends the barrier of language, and yet it stimulates the mind at any stage of the disease. We will be hearing more about this intervention and its benefits later. I'd like to end by thanking Rotary Cantonment, Rotarian Bill Shinto and other Rotarians, and Wing Commander Sabharwal for envisioning ADRAG India and giving us all the opportunity to contribute to this cause. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Soumya.
Yeah, welcome, DG Nagendra Prasad.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Yeah. So we now move on to the next speaker, Ms. Vidya Shenoy. Let me take this opportunity to briefly introduce her. Ms. Vidya Shenoy is a trained practitioner in integrated therapies for seniors who are affected by Alzheimer's. She founded and is running an ISO 9001-2015 certified dementia daycare center based in Bombay. Vidya is focused to create a dementia-friendly community that is devoid of social stigma. Her aim is to educate caregivers so that those living with dementia are respected, well cared for, and loved with empathy, patience, and compassion. She organizes awareness talks and also does memory screening. She has conducted dementia related training modules and also does counseling. She has addressed several national and international conferences and has presented on multiple platforms across different strata of society. Vidya Shenoy is the Secretary General of Alzheimer's Related Disorders Society of India and a panel member of Maharashtra State Mental Health Authority. Really a privilege, ma'am, to have you with us today. Over to you.
Thank you for this introduction. And Sabi, thank you for inviting me on this fantastic project, a venture that started along with Rotary. And I really look forward to giving more than what is possible from me and make a difference to people around, whether they need us or not. I want to be there for them. I want to start with saying that Alzheimer's and Related Disorders Society of India is very active, and we have about 20 plus chapters all over India. The talk has been titled The Coin of Caregiving. We make a living by what we get, and we make a life by what we give. This is what Winston Churchill said. And I think he had caregiving in mind. Now we ask, what do we get in return? Most of the time, people want to know what we get back in return. In chapter 2, verse 47 of the Bhagavad Gita, which is very popular, it's an ancient Indian text that teaches us the way of life. It says, in Sanskrit, it means karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachanam. The English translation goes, you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you're not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of what your activities are, and never be attached to not doing your duty. So caregivers and care receivers often work together. That's why I thought the appropriate thing would be to title the talk, There are Two Sides of a Coin. Each side has divergent, emotional, social, and practical difficulties when they relate with each other, often imbalancing the relationship, creating disagreements and understanding. However, the beauty of care is that both the giver and the receiver are blessed. The caregiver is blessed with patience, understanding, being a good communicator with the person getting care, commanding respect because they too give it to them. And you know, what you command is what you get. For care needs to be given with respect, with a lot of love, and remembering that we have to keep their dignity in mind because they have lost out on a lot and they already have an emotional insecurity that they cannot give as much as they gave when they were younger. The popular Yiddish proverb is God gave burdens, but he gave us shoulders also. So in turn, the receiver through body language knows and feels that this carer is an emotional, physical support in times to come. So over time, the caregiver and the care receiver, they build a very special bond to consistently feel the pulse of the caregiver. Eventually, they become each other's heartbeat. Caregiving, though, has its challenges. Primarily, you know, the person who's a caregiver has missed out on their own personal life, their priorities, giving up a lot, I mean, sacrificing for so much. And yet, looking at the positive side of it, I think there are a lot of bonding rewards too. Studies have shown that caregivers report more positive emotions, approximately 3 times more than those who don't give it, or than the negative emotions relating to caregiving. 96% have reported feeling very loving because they have loved, and I'm sure you get love back in return. 90% of them have felt very appreciated and 84% have felt very proud of what they're doing. So it gives a sanctity to the commitment, and it gives a lot of more morale booster for the person who's a caregiver. Caregivers also find a sense of purpose and a meaning to their lives, because what you do is what you feel eventually. And I recall Pierre Teilhard's quote. He had a very nice thing. What Chardin said was, the most satisfying thing in life is to have been able to give a large part of oneself to others. And I think it's a very nice feeling where all the above rewards can help somebody, mainly the caregiver, to improve their self-confidence and esteem. And it helps higher self goals too. I think it's your unlimited power to care and to love. And I think it's a very natural thing. We are all born to love. The only thing is our priorities are different and we don't know what to do when. And, we put things like something that is natural, innate to us, our feeling, our character, put it away and we get in the rut of the temporal life. And I think since it's innate to us to love, to care unconditionally, like a mother who cares unconditionally, or a child who's fallen down, every other adult will run across the room to help the child go up. So little things, or having a blind man cross the street and you see the red cane and you immediately go help him cross the street. So these are little things. That means caring and loving is in it to us. So I think what we have to do is we have to remember that, like Anthony Robbins said, he said, it's your unlimited power to care and to love that makes the biggest difference in the quality of your life. And I think the more you give, I think you improve the quality of your life and you feel happier. I'll just conclude by giving a nice quote again from Edith Wharton, who said there are two ways of spreading light. One is to be the candle and the other, the mirror to reflect it. So it's a food for thought. What is your choice? Would you love to be the candle or the mirror? Think about it, and maybe next time we meet, I think I'll have an answer. And all of us are in the same game. Let's enjoy the game wholeheartedly and have a good evening, the rest of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Whether they need us or not, we are there for them. So wonderful. So Bill and Dr. Soumya touched upon it, but we're going to have Dr. Sushila, who will talk about it, tell us about the importance of music therapy. But before that, a quick introduction. Dr. Sushila is a postgraduate in physics from the Indian Institute of Delhi, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. She's an MBA from the Delhi University, and she holds a PhD from BITS Pilani. She was managing director of Cisco Strategy Consulting Group, and then the principal director of Information Systems and Technology at the Asian Development Bank. She has 25 years of consulting experience and is currently the chair of Arogya World India Trust. Sushila is a regular speaker at major conferences. She also writes frequently on topics related to healthcare. She is a member of the e-health task force of FICCI. A very versatile person that she is, Sushila is currently pursuing studies in Sanskrit. She is a Carnatic music vocalist and enjoys photography and painting. She is an active Rotarian. She's, I'm proud to say, part of our club and was the president of our club in the year 2018. She was the chair of the Integrity and Ethics Committee and Senior Citizens Initiatives of the Rotary District 3190. A warm welcome to you, Dr. Sushila.
Thank you so much. And thank you very much for this opportunity to speak about a subject that I'm very passionate about, which is music. There is music all around us, where we look at the music of the spheres, which the ancient Greek philosophers talked about, or we look at the Indian tradition, the Indian classical music tradition, which talks about how the human body, the vertebrae in the human body, actually resonate to specific notes, musical notes. There's music in everything around us. There is music in the flow of a river. There is music in the chirping of the birds. So it's just everywhere around us, there is music. And that is something that every one of us connects to. In the classical Indian tradition, whether it's yoga or the Indian medical systems, they all talk about energy centers in the body, which we call chakras. And each of the chakras actually is supposed to be resonating to a particular note or a set of notes or a particular type of music. Each of the chakras is also associated with a bunch of emotions and feelings. So now you see, if we are able to address using music, those emotions that belong to that or are associated with that energy center, we can actually either enhance or diminish those emotions as we want to. I've learned a lot about music therapy from Rajam Shankar. And she's done a lot of work with dementia patients. So much of the examples that I'm going to give do come from the work that she's done. That's on the Indian side. So this is part of the Indian tradition about the notes that the body resonates to. But more recently, there has been research that has proven that those notes are exactly what the body does resonate with. So we have now modern proof of all of that as well. So let me start with music therapy for the caregiver, because that's just as important. So, caregivers, as we all know, are beset with a bunch of emotions such as anger, pain, anxiety, fear, guilt, and also positive feelings of affection and love. And so, if you look at the chakras, look at the notes, and then if you took the classical Indian tradition, we'd pick up ragas that kind of, are related to those set of notes. And that's how we can help the caregiver through this. But also, it's just the songs, it's all kinds of music that a person relates to. And all of that is useful for the caregiver. Of course, we all know that the caregiver must look after themselves really well. Now let's look at the patients themselves. Music belongs to what is called the procedural memory. And the procedural memory really doesn't fade until very, very, very late in life. So we hold in ourselves those musical memories and some of the other memories with us. Although we are not able to express them, or although a patient is not able to express them, they still hold it within them. So music can elicit emotional responses. It can help link with memories, and it also allows people to connect with other people. So if we look at it from that point of view, then we know that there is a mechanism behind all of this that can help with dementia. So the first idea is that music could be either passive in that you listen to music, or active in that you participate in the music, either in the form of singing yourself or clapping or dancing or moving with it in whatever way. So, but music is very, very personal, and therefore any kind of musical intervention, any music therapy for dementia has necessarily to be very customized. Both in India and globally, we've seen that, and there are actually a lot of videos available even on the public domain, if you can look at. And you kind of see when somebody plays a known song or a known tune, you see that flicker, the first flicker of recognition, and that turns into a smile, then a little bit of conversation. So it's really nice to see and very touching to see that whole process happen. So the first and perhaps the simplest way is to look for those songs that the patient really relates to, and put them up for them to listen to. The second way of looking at music therapy is beats and rhythm, because these activate the left brain, and they're very easy to follow. So that's another way of activating the brain. And the third, of course, is specific. So if I look at the Indian system, it's the ragas and so on, which stimulate the brain activity in different ways. And there are particular ragas that do work, and they can also be used. So I just wanted to put all this on the table. I am really hopeful that ADRAG will find a good way to apply these concepts and help both patient and caregiver. Soumya talked about medication that helps to delay the progress of the disease. I'm very hopeful that music can help prevent, or at least delay, the progress of the disease. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Sushila, for anchoring music to help in the delay of Alzheimer's. Thank you so much. After these wonderful talks, I invite our DG to inaugurate ADRAC India. But before that, I know most of us know him, but I will just take a minute to briefly introduce him for those who don't know him from before. So our DG, Nagendra Prasad, is a businessman. He is a builder who has developed more than 85,000 residential plots in Bengaluru and Mysore. He was a charter member of Rotary Bangalore Sadashiv Nagar in 2008 and became its president in the year 2011-12. He backed the Star President and Outstanding President Award that year. He began his second innings in Rotary with even more vibrancy, vigor, and determination by joining Rotary Bangalore Pina in 2012 and served the district in various capacities before being elected as DG for this current year. In addition to his contribution of time and expertise to Rotary, he became the member of Arch Clump Society by his contribution to the foundation of $250,000, including an endowment of 25,000 USD. Hats off for your commitment, sir. Even in this busy schedule, he finds time to nurture his hobbies in cricket, table tennis, and photography. I would now request you, sir, to do the honors.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this opportunity. First of all, let me congratulate our Rotary Club cantonment and our RACs for joining together and conducting such a wonderful program. And as I see that even at this pandemic, each one of our clubs and Rotarians have taken this great opportunity in connecting with people, bringing good speakers and bringing good doctors, giving us a lot of medical advisors and giving us knowledge about what's happening all around us. And it's my pleasure, and I would like to congratulate each one of you for taking this particular assignment. And also I would like to say that as 3190 have been saying morely on the health related, we have been supporting, especially on this COVID-19. A lot of work is going on from the districts, from the clubs, from the individuals, Rotarians. A lot of things have been happening, and the COVID hospital what we started. Now recently, about a couple of days back, I was surprised, when one of the doctors by name Dr. Chandrasekhar, who is a Rotarian from Archers, he had come and met me, and he said he wanted to do something similar to this, nurturing and giving them the more ideas and how to come out of this, and also treating the patients. And this is one of the projects what he has designed, and he wanted to do in Jainagar, wherein we have already identified a place now, and he's already talking to a couple of his friends who are doctors. And I think today, after seeing this, I thought This is one of the best projects we would think about it. And I would like to assure you that we are all there to support you. Please start awareness, more awareness on this particular thing. There's Alzheimer, the forgetfulness. We see many advertisements in the papers and among ourselves in the WhatsApp group. Their father is not there. He has gone out of the home and not to be traced. Many things like this. I think we had to talk of awareness and see how we could treat these people, especially at the elderly people, and try to help them. I was talking to this doctor and telling something like Karnashriya, what they have done, something like this on this neuro problems. We need to address this and see something could be done from Rotary side, and that will be a great thing. And that is what he's already started working. So Rax, I'll come back to you and ask your help for this. And I thank you for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DG, for being here with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ravinash. Thank you for that. And I think more programs like this have to be thought about it. So especially on online and this context, what I see is wherever I go for GOV and any programs, all the Rotarians come to me and tell me that they are so nice, and each and every program which has been done on online, most of the Rotarians from other part of the our Bangalore or our district, they have all been watching and they say it's very informative. I think even this program is very informative. And thank you, President Skadok.
Thank you so much, DG, for being here and for inaugurating. So finally, the man whose perseverance has made it possible, the 70-year young Wing Commander, Rotarian DP Sabharwal. So before he makes a presentation on ADRAG India, let me briefly introduce you to him. A 70-year young Wing Commander DP Sabharwal is an aeronautical engineer by training. By profession, he is an Air Force officer who has served the country for close to 25 years. He is a teacher, he is a trainer by aptitude, and by passion, he is a writer who has written more than 100 articles and several books to his credit. Above all, he is a social worker by choice. For 12 years, he looked after his wife, who got Alzheimer's at a rather young age of 55. After her death, he dedicated himself to spreading awareness of Alzheimer's and helping caregivers in coping with such difficult times. In less than 2 years, and that was prior to the onset of COVID, he delivered close to almost 100 talks, slightly less than 100, about 95 talks in Bengaluru and other parts of the country. His 40th book, Handling Alzheimer's with Courage, serves as a guide to several caregivers and has been appreciated by the medical fraternity. This book has also been translated into 8 different languages. Very proud to say that he's a part of our club and he has been doing a lot to raise awareness of Alzheimer's. I now request you, Sabi, to make a brief presentation on ADRAG India.
Thank you, Suman. Now, there are many life-threatening diseases like heart attack, diabetes, HIV, AIDS, and cancer. From all these diseases, from the extreme cases, the patients have recovered, come up on stage and share their experiences, how they coped with this disease. But there is one disease from which till date, not a single person has survived to say how they felt. It's the caregivers who suffer as much as the patient, if not more. They are the people who tell what exactly that disease is, how deadly that disease is, and that is a disease, Alzheimer's, what we are talking about it. The scenario worldwide and that in India has been painted nicely by Dr. Soumya Hegde. In the years to come, situation is going to be very, very grim, if I can put it that way, in our country. So somebody has to do something other than the medical fraternity. And Rotary is one such platform. I feel very happy that we are opening a ADRAG India chapter under District 3190. And my club, Rotary Bangalore Cantonment, is going to take this lead. Now, how this ADRAG India has come up, there's a small story I like to go into the background. It was about 3 years back. I visited a family where an old lady was suffering from Alzheimer's, as I keep on doing it. There I met a gentleman who had come from United States to look after his mother for 1 month. During that month, his brother and sister-in-law, who used to look after the mother for 11 months, wanted to get a break. That is what all caregivers require. So my interaction with that person worked out something. Probably he saw a spark in me. He carried that spark to US, talked to the people concerned. Subsequently, the efforts of two of the Rotarians, Raghu Alam and Sushila Venkatraman, that the whole process, which started 3 years back with a customary visit, has resulted in what we are today inaugurated ADRAG India. Now, years to come are going to be very, very difficult. Rotary has to take this course. And now Rotary International is almost done with polio. It has almost been eradicated. So I'm sure in the years to come, Rotary International might pick up Alzheimer's as a main theme. And if that happens, we would have started much ahead in our country to look after this aspect. Now, our ADRAG India is already 22 members, 16 are Rotarians from my club, and 6 are from outside, 4 are caregivers, and 2 are involved with Alzheimer's, Dr. Soumya Hegde and Vidya Shenoy. Now, ADRAG is an acronym for Alzheimer Dementia Rotary Action Group. But we would like to give another meaning to these 5 words. The first word, A, we'll have to look for awareness. Because as has been highlighted by everybody, there is no awareness. In fact, in our country, there is a taboo about talking about any mental disease. Alzheimer's is a mental disease where the brain gets degenerated day by day. And in our country, any mental disease is taken to be a person to be senile, and the only place is mental asylums. So that's why people are afraid to talk about it. So we have to get them out of this stigma, out of this shame factor that there is a person suffering from brain disease. That will be the first part, A, for awareness. The next alphabet, D, comes for detection. There is no cure for this. And the other sad part is there is no simple test to establish Alzheimer's. In my case, it took 3 years plus to come close to before a doctor could say Alzheimer question mark. That situation is even today 12 years down the line. So once we give awareness, we have to have the memory clinics and certain tests to make sure that whether a person is suffering from Alzheimer's or it's a age-related forgetfulness. Then we come to the third alphabet, R, is the rehabilitation. A person may be living in the same house or something for 50, 60 years, but the moment he or she is affected by Alzheimer's, the whole scenario changes. So the same home has to be made up friendly. That person has to be introduced to the daycare centers, and when a stage comes, probably to be shifted to the 24 hours care centers. I think my video is packed up, so I'm coming onto the mobile. The fourth A is assistance. Now, though this no cure and the medicine is not very costly, but the other effects, for example, taking a caregiver is very, very costly. And today in metropolitans, it's costing about 1,500 rupees per day, which comes to about 45 to 50,000 rupees per month, which means about 500 to 600 US dollars. So we'll have to look into that aspect. And then finally coming to the G is a group therapy for the caregivers. Well, having gone through that, I know how difficult it is. And I've been telling my people I haven't seen hell, but what I've gone through is probably nothing less than that. Hell couldn't be worse than that. So situation can be that bad. The caregivers becomes like a pressure cooker. The whistle has to blow, the steam has to be taken out. So we'll have to create groups on WhatsApp, actual physical meeting, where they can talk about their tensions and ease out. So these are the awareness, detection, rehabilitation, assistance, and group therapy, which has to be done. Now for this, we'll go ahead with the program. I'm honored to be made the chairperson of this group. And I have got one request and appeal to everybody in the district, the presidents of various Rotary clubs who are attending. Please give us a chance, arrange a meeting so that we can create awareness in your areas. And before I close, I want to make an announcement. The first action from the ADRAG is coming, another book, a guide for the caregivers, which is jointly written by Dr. Soumya Hegde and me. And this book would be ready by about the first week of February. It will be the first publication of ADRAG India. With that, I'd like to thank everybody in USA and in India who have made this ADRAG India possible. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Sabi. Thank you so much. A real bang start to ADRAG. And thank you everyone here for making it possible. I now request our president, Ravi Narasimhan, to present the vote of thanks and give his concluding remarks. Over to you, Ravi.
This opportunity, Suman, let me thank. And my first tryst with Alzheimer's was when I was looking at a image in the Milwaukee County Hospital way back in '91, when we could see some images of early Alzheimer's disease being detected by an MRI, which I was getting trained on in terms of how to detect MR images, how to look at MR images where people are likely to have Alzheimer's. And this is a differently, and today I am in a completely different side of the table where we are basically looking at launching support, caregiving support for Alzheimer's patients, which is phenomenal, which is a very admirable, very nice place to be in, nice situation to be in. We could detect this 30 years ago, but we couldn't really spell it out because there is a certain sequence in the MRI. It's called the signal to noise ratio, which gives you a significant understanding of how this Alzheimer's is likely to progress. So the doctor today, a radiologist, can even tell the neurologist the speed at which the person is likely to get demented. So this is fundamentally the change we have brought, the medical technologies have brought in the last 30 years. So that's some background which I can share with you.
Can't hear you.
Healthcare in India, along with Premji from. And am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let me take this opportunity.
Gone again.
Congratulate Bill Shilito. Gone again?
Yeah, now you're back.
You're back? All right. Okay. So let me congratulate Bill Shilito, Radhakrishna, and Soumya Agde, and the rest of the active Alzheimer's team, I wish them all the best. And let me also take this opportunity to thank all of them for being here. Plus, my special thanks to DG Nagendra Prasad, our past president, Rotary, a past president of Cantonment, Sushila Venkatraman, a past president, Raghu Alam, the Rotary Action Group, and of course, the secretary to the ADRAG International, which is Angela. I don't know whether she's there or not. So I'm happy to be there for this inauguration, and I really look forward to seeing more action in this Rotary Action Group and in ADRAG India. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for making this event a very memorable one. Do I conclude this meeting? Let me take this opportunity to conclude the meeting by sounding the gong of the Rotary.